Monday, November 9th, the 20th anniversary of one of the most important events of the 20th century, the day the Berlin Wall came crashing down. The moment provided dramatic evidence that the Soviet Union was unraveling, that international communism was on its last legs, and that the United States and its allies had won the Cold War. In the endgame, two presidents deserved much of the credit, Ronald Reagan and his successor, George H.W. Bush. Throughout the 1980s, Reagan had applied unrelenting pressure on the Soviet Union, a regime he once called an evil empire. But when the reform-minded Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev came to power, Reagan saw an opportunity to make historic strides toward peace, as did Gorbachev himself. And the two formed a strategic partnership. On June 12, 1987, at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, Reagan issued a remarkable challenge.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
I was fortunate to have covered Reagan that day. I was at the site of the speech, and I admit that my media colleagues and I thought Reagan was being too naive and optimistic, that we would never see the fall of the Berlin Wall in our lifetimes. Reagan, of course, turned out to be right. Bush 41 also deserved a lot of credit for the way he handled the final demise of the Soviet Empire with prudence and restraint. He facilitated a largely nonviolent transition from communism that could have been a calamity if there had been more resistance from the forces of the status quo. Bush's point was that he would not gloat or embarrass Gorbachev. That might have provoked a backlash in the Kremlin. Memories of the Berlin Wall coming down are evoked at the museum in Washington, D.C., where panels of the graffiti-covered concrete barriers are on display. President Obama's advisors tell me that this historic moment serves as a reminder of the importance of persistence, toughness, and flexibility, and the need for engagement by America's president around the world, not only in dealing with international terrorism, but in the next phases of the conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq, and preventing Iran and North Korea from developing nuclear weapons. Most Americans might not give November 9, 1989 a passing thought, and that's too bad, because it's a day worth celebrating. For U.S. News & World Report, I'm Ken Walsh.